Okay, here we go. We are out in the pasture with the big herd tonight during our photography workshop. It's about 90 degrees out, so all of the horses are hanging out in the shade. So far, we haven't had a lot of opportunity for action shots, since this is the position most of them are in. Yay, we finally have some people watching us. Don't have a great connection, but if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and I think I'll see them. So here we have Rowena's butt showing us her best side. Hi Josie, I saw your comment. Come around. It's a little bit dusty and dry. Oregon this time of year. And there's Fergie. And who's this? Susan. This is the big herd. All of the former PMU mares and their offspring. So the big girls. Here's Susie, who doesn't really like the camera in her face. And Gigi and her son Chevalier. The babies, I probably have to stop calling them babies because they're 11 this year, but most of them hang out with their mom still. Here's little Nokomis. Hi, buddy. Rebecca, our horses are not available for adoption, but I'm happy to point you in the direction of some other rescues that do have horses. These guys kind of won the horse lottery, and they get to live here for the rest of their life. So most of them spent a bunch of years locked in PMU barns. So this is the opposite of that. Here's little Pasha. Hi, kid. Right now there are 109 in this group. And this is Pasha's mom, Cinnamon. And we got a whole bunch more horse butts. None of these horses get ridden. They're all retired from having to do anything for a living, so they just get to hang out and be horses. Live in the trees, in the pasture, be with their families. Sorry about the sun. Let's see, the original herd was 89, and then about 54 babies on top of that, and we have, gosh, trying to think of how many of the original mares we've lost. A few, probably 15 or so, so we probably have 75 of the original PMU mares out here. Ah, where did the horses come from? Okay. So this herd came from two different PMU farms that lost their contract, and they were sending all of their horses to slaughter. In general, the horses that come to Duchess are coming from situations where law enforcement has been involved, and they've stepped in to seize horses from lousy situations. Oh, Grace and Pearl are insisting on being introduced. Hi, girls. But you're right in the camera. So we have 190 horses altogether and 5 donkeys on the sanctuary. We have this big group that came from the PMU industry. And we've got Mustangs from the BLM. Horses that were rescued from slaughter, seized in cruelty cases, abandoned, abused. They all have kind of lousy stories, but this is their happily ever after, getting to live here. And here's some dust. This is Apollo we're looking at. And we have a lovely group of photographers out here tonight that are dealing with all of the heat and the dust, and the horses following them and chewing on their camera equipment, like Stormy, who insists on being involved at every minute. And Grace, hi. Yes, I know, I see you. Whoop. Sorry, had to step over a log. And as you can see, they like to itch on the trees. So Sophie is itching herself. Lucy, we keep the herd, this herd is all draft and draft crosses. There's one little mare out here that's not a draft, but she's been in this herd for about 10 years, so she fits right in. Otherwise, we have a group that we call our light herd. That is the lighter breeds of horses. The Mustangs, the Paints, the quarter horses, they all hang out together. There's about 50. And then everything else is special needs in either a smaller pasture or a paddock where they can get medication. In the winter, we have winter pastures and feed areas set up for them. So their hay feeders go undercover so they can get out of the weather. Great big huge shelters. Most of them choose to use the shelters. A few of them prefer the trees, but they can all get out of the weather when they need to. Somebody's having a nap here. Here's one of the favorite itching trees. Marianne, yes, we have geldings and mares all mixed together. We occasionally take in stallions, which are castrated shortly after they arrive, after they've been quarantined. And in those cases, depending on the individual horse, they may need to spend some time living with just other geldings for a while before we introduce them into a group with mares. But we've been able to make the transition for all of them so far without too much trouble, and they get along just fine. Just gonna keep going through the herd here. There's Shiloh. Fatima. Hi, ladies. And there's Cosette in the middle. And Santana looking at us, half asleep. And there's Katie's butt with number 810 on it. And little Tally. Question from Lucy, how do you add a new horse? So this particular herd, we actually have not added new horses to since we moved them here in 2008. Our light herd we've added plenty of horses to, and our introduction process is a little bit gradual. We will put the horse across the fence from usually a smaller portion of the herd we're trying to introduce them to, let them get acquainted that way, and then we might let them live directly with 2 or 3 or 4 members of the herd they're going with so that they can make some friends, and then we will put them out with the larger herd. And that seems to work pretty well. Everybody gets along. It's still pretty hot. It's about 90 degrees here this afternoon, so everyone's being lazy. Here's Paulina. And Tiffany with all of the hair. And little Diva.
Hello, pretty boy. Hello, pretty boy.
If any of you watched the video, the pool party video with all of the horses at the pond, there was a little gray horse. Oops, sorry, wasp. There was a little gray horse that was swimming completely across the pond, and that was Diva. So this is her right here. This is the only herd that has drafts and draft crosses in it. Well, that's not true. I have 3 draft crosses in the light herd, and they live in there for a couple different reasons. But this is the biggest group of drafts. Most of our intakes are smaller breeds of horses. Our latest intake was a Pasofino, an Appaloosa, a quarter horse, and 4 little donkeys who you've been introduced to in the last couple of weeks. I'm liking all the love. Thanks, everybody. Amanda, Dante's not in this group, but he's just fine. We saw him this morning. Here's Maxine. And Molly's butt. Get out into the open a little bit. You might be able to see a little better. Not that anybody's doing anything exciting. Here's Raffles hanging out. And we have Penny, and India, and Comus, and over on the fence is Katie and Caitlin, and here's Luna. No, the flies are pretty good, and we do try to bring the herd in every couple of weeks anyway and get them fly sprayed. But there is a nice breeze blowing here tonight that's helping. If you look over there where all those trees are, that is Mildred Knight Park. If any of you are from the area, you will know what that place is. So I think I am just about out of phone battery. I'm going to have to shut her down here shortly. But thank you all. Susan, we have 4 full-time employees, and we all stay pretty busy. We also have some great volunteers that help out tremendously. Raffles, you decided to look at us. Hi. This mare's one of the more nervous girls. So, Andrea, this group all gets the same feed. They have free choice hay all winter. We do have a group we call our old ladies that have been pulled out of this herd over the years, and they get fed some supplemental alfalfa and other feed. And we just keep a really close eye on everybody's weight through the winter. If anyone looks like they're losing, then we can pull them in and supplement them. But they do really well on free choice grass hay and the little bits of grass that are in the pasture in the winter. Oh, hi. Hi. And here's up close. We actually have more trouble with horses being too fat, as you might imagine, than we do with skinny ones. And Susan, we appreciate all of your gifts from Amazon. It's fantastic. It totally makes our day when UPS comes up the driveway with stuff from Amazon wishlist. And it's usually really great timing. Heather, we do a tour once a month for people that are interested in volunteering. So the next one is actually next Saturday at 10 o'clock. So if you're interested in joining the volunteer program, please feel free to join us. And there is more information on the events page as well. Or you can send me an email. My email address is on that page. Otherwise, we are closed to the public normally, so this is your sneak peek from the pasture. Since you are all such wonderful friends of ours on Facebook. And I have a horse stalking me. Hi. Hi. This is Havana. She thinks she needs a little more camera time, I think. Want to say hi to everybody? Havana says hi. We try to make it horse heaven, Marianne. This is the last home that these horses are going to have, so our unofficial motto is that we don't want them to have another bad day. They've all come from really unfortunate situations, so hopefully this makes up for it. Mandy, our horses come from all over, all kinds of, like I was saying, unfortunate situations. We try to limit our intakes to situations where law enforcement has been involved. It's the hardest part of my job to say no to somebody that wants their horse to come live here, but we really have to be responsible with the resources that we have and how much space and time we can give to these horses. Because it is their final home, we really want to make it the best life that we can give them. And that means not overburdening the feed budget and the staff time and everything else. So horses are coming from cruelty, seizures, you know, if there's an imminent danger of slaughter, that sort of thing. And our intake numbers are pretty low, you know, less than 10 per year normally. Let's see if anybody else is in the open. No, we don't adopt horses out. We occasionally foster for other horse rescues or groups that might have a really kind of high maintenance foster they need some help with. And in that case, some of those horses become available for adoption once they go home to their original rescue. But otherwise, our animals are here for permanent sanctuary. Particularly in this group, but overall, we really feel like they've kind of earned a forever home and never ever having to be at risk of ending up in a feedlot or starving somewhere or being neglected. So, like I was saying earlier, they really kind of have won the horse rescue lottery when they get to come live here. And I do wish we could have more and more and more. If I said yes to everyone, we'd have 1,000 horses here in about a month. And then we'd have no grass, and we'd be in big trouble. So, to stay responsible, we limit what can come in. Well, we got a few out in the grass here. I'm trying to stay in the shade because it's really hot. Go out this way. Pan around. You can see the pasture we're in. So there's a few spread out in the grass eating. And it is cooling off a little bit. So we might see a few more come out from the shade. Okay, folks, it's time for me to turn this off. Thank you all very much for watching. If you have questions, I think you can probably comment on this video at the end, and I will try to answer them later this evening when I get back to the office. But we're going to be out here until sunset and hoping for some spectacular lighting later this evening. Thank you all for watching, and have a great night.